Alright, people. Review of the week time. So, oh boy, this was a doozy of a week, wasn't it? There was a lot happened. And obviously, we're going to go over the cards that happened. Now, I've done reviews for most of the fights, so I'm not going to labor too long on all these. And quite frankly, some of the fights don't deserve any more than a brief mention. Quite frankly, we'll start it with Friday's card. Don't say I didn't warn you. Well, the good thing is this won't take too long, right? Because, look, I said it once, I'll say it again. Don't knock a concept till you try it. Um, on paper, I like the idea of a fight card in the middle of Times Square. They talked about doing one in Trafalgar Square in London, um, which probably would be a little bit, or would it? Because there's a big fountain there, actually. But maybe, I'm thinking, would it be easier to do in Trafalgar Square? Probably not. Probably be about the same, to be honest with you. But either way, right? I thought it might look good, but it really didn't deliver the atmosphere. There was no atmosphere, and I don't want to see it again. I think that concept, we tried it, and at the end of the day, you won't know something's a dud until you try it, and I didn't like it. Personally, I didn't like it, and I think that it didn't help the fight. I don't think these fights would have been classics even if they were in MSG or the Barclays Arena or Barclays Centre. But I think that we would have had a more lively crowd, and best believe they would have been. Well, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia in their respective fights would have been booed out of the building, and that would have. I think that there are fighters like Ryan Garcia who probably need the crowd back at them, a bigger crowd than that. Really cheering him home. And Ryan, in the build up to this fight, hasn't been as erratic, for want of a better word, as we've seen him in the past, and maybe he is someone like that who needs to be just a little bit unhinged. And let's talk about the card anyway. I'm not going to start with the bottom two because one of them was an amateur fight. Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barbosa Jr., great performance by Teofimo Lopez. One of the few times over the last 5 years we've seen the takeover. We've seen him quite frequently in 2019, 2020. Haven't seen him much since. This fight and Josh Taylor are the last two times we've seen Teo to take over. I hope we are going to see him more regularly now. Immediately after the fight, he mentioned Boots Ennis, and look, Teo looked good, but I don't know how. Like, at lightweight, he was a big puncher. He looked quite good at lightweight. He's not had the same menace about him, for want of a better word, at 140 pounds. And Boots Ennis is massive at 147 pounds, and he's probably would be the biggest. Oh, he'd definitely be the biggest puncher that Teofimo Lopez has ever faced. If you thought George Kambosos with the right hand hit hard, man, that ain't added in comparison to what Boots Ennis can throw. He's accurate, he's fast, he's athletic. Man, Boots is serious. So Teofimo Lopez, it's a great fight on paper. I sure as hell wouldn't give him a chance. But that's I thought Barbosa would probably win if we didn't get Teo the takeover. We did, and when we get Teo takeover, then we're in for a real treat. So that was the first fight. Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez. That was just, what was that from Devin Haney? That's all I'll say. What was that? And this guy thinks of himself as a star. Well, with performances like that, he's living in outer space with ideas like that, with performances like that. That was awful. Like, I stayed up for this card because it was in New York. I wasn't going to do a watch along or anything. Like, thank God I didn't. And I literally sat on my couch watching this fight. And after about 2 rounds, I fell asleep. I woke up literally as the 12th round was ending, and I couldn't believe my eyes when I seen the punch stats. And I was thinking, surely that has to be power shots only. And it was the total punch stats. I just, that was awful. And the main event, Ryan Garcia versus Rolly, wasn't much better. It was a little bit more, because we had the knockdown in round two, there was a bit more drama, and that kind of made you jump up out of your seat a bit, that knockdown. But then it just became Ryan Garcia using his jab, and his jab was actually quite good. It was fast, it was snappy, had a bit of pop to it, but he just followed it up with literally nothing. He would barely throw the right hand. He was looking for the perfect moment to throw the left hook, and it was few and far between. And when he did throw, Rowley just had it blocked, had the left hook scouted. So it was an awful performance by Ryan Garcia. He lost that fight comprehensively. I mean, one judge or two judges had a 5-7. And as Jim Lampley was saying in the post fight, if you look at the punch stats, it would indicate a close fight, but it really wasn't. You know, it really wasn't. Rowley was the deserved winner by a country mile. The 118-109 was spot on. That's the type of fight we saw because Ryan just didn't do anything. So the cards on paper looked like it should have delivered. I personally don't think it did. I think that in an arena, potentially we could have had a little bit more of a entertaining night, we'll say. And then we move on to Saturday, which was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, I felt bad for the guys over there because that was like 6 a.m. Riyadh time, maybe earlier by the time the main event, or later. So they did an all-nighter. They were doing a night shift over there. They really were, which I get why you do it for Canelo, but at the end of the day, like if you did that at 11 p.m., like, you know, it's not that bad. Like it'd be afternoon in the west coast of America. I'm not sure what time it'd be in Mexico. Probably be a little bit. Like I don't see why you couldn't just do it at that time. It's a Saturday. I just don't see why they had to do it quite like this, where it's in Saudi Arabia, but they're doing it on West Coast US time, and it just makes no sense to me. You know, why don't you just do it normal time like it would have been for a normal Riyadh show? There's no issue with them when it's Beterbiev. There's no issue with them when it's Joshua Fury or, well, not Joshua Fury. You know what I mean? When it's Joshua Usyk or Fury, there's no issue there. Why you have to do it? Like I don't know. That's just a little nitpick. Didn't see Riakporhe, but apparently he made his heavyweight debut. He was 235 pounds. That actually did surprise me, how heavy Riakporhe was. Because 235, again, you got to bear in mind, Alexander Usyk, when he moved to heavyweight from cruiserweight, and he'd been talking about moving up even before he did the World Boxing Super Series. That was what it was called, the World Boxing Super Series. I always get mixed up between that and the WSB. And he was only in the teens when he moved up. My guy's in the mid 230s. So Riakporhe, I mean, he was shifting a good bit of weight to get down to cruiserweight. See, there are certain cruiserweights I look at them like Jay Apataya, and I think, oh, when you move to heavyweight, you're going to be a problem, because you can see the advantages they'll have over these bigger guys. I don't really see any of that with Riakporhe. I think his best bet for a world title was at cruiserweight, and I thought it would be against CBS, but he got well and truly beaten in that fight. Jaime Munguia rematch Bruno Saras. That was a shock, like an absolute shock when he got knocked out in 6 rounds, I think it was, back in December, November. Like, it was such a shock because Bruno Saras has like 5 stoppage wins in 20 odd fights, not known as a puncher, and he knocked Munguia nearly out cold. So going into this fight, I was thinking, well, Munguia showed in the first fight he was the more talented, but he just made so many mistakes and allowed himself to get caught. He didn't do that this time around. He was a lot more defensively wary, and he won a deserved decision. There's not really much else to say on that one. I didn't see Badu Jack's fight, but apparently he beat Noran Makajayan, I think is how you say his name. Now that guy's been in there with the likes of Myris Briedis, Krzysztof Wladacek, and Wladacek was a split decision back in 17. Briedis, I remember this fight. This wasn't actually in the World Boxing Super Series. I don't think it was anyway. I think it was just after he lost, or maybe it was actually. It could actually have been in the second series, the second season of it. But a lot of people actually felt that he beat Briedis that night. He didn't get the decision, but if you look at the scorecards, they're quite close. You know, 114, 112, 115, 111, 116, 110. That's a bit wide. But a lot of people felt that he actually had the beating of Briedis that night. And, well, he's been doing all right. He knocked out Ilunga Makabu in 3 rounds 2 years ago. That was him. Yeah, that was him. Makabu's just fallen off the face of the earth since that Badu Jack defeat. And he went in there against Badu Jack. Now, I didn't see the fight, but the fact it's a majority decision, it was close. Badu Jack is the darling of boxing in Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. So, you do wonder what happened there. But he is now, once again, WBC Cruiserweight champion. Badu Jack is a legend, but he's one of the weaker champions at Cruiserweight. How old is Badu Jack now anyway? He's got to be well in his 41. Jesus Christ, I didn't think he was that old. Yeah. I mean, credit to him, 41, to still be a world champion. But, yeah, I didn't think he was that old, to be honest, which that's a bit of a surprise there, actually. Martin Bakole, FA Jagba. I'm going to do a separate video on Bakole because I don't know what's going on with him. I really don't. Looked devastating against Tony Oka, looked devastating against Carlos Takam, looked very devastating against Jared Anderson, was doing all the right things, was looking like he was looking like a boogeyman in the division. And now, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's gone wrong. I really don't. Some people would argue maybe he was never that good anyway. I definitely saw something in him, but I'm not seeing it now. I'm seeing some people are saying he's lacking hunger. Well, define lacking hunger. I think he's very hungry, just not for boxing. And in the main event, obviously, Canelo Alvarez, William Scull. The less that's said about that fight, the better. It was truly, that was ridiculous. Like, that's not the first time we've seen someone do that against Canelo, just look to survive. And again, if you're Canelo, as I said in my post-fight review, how do you look good against that? Because you have someone like Naoya Inoue who fought Paul Butler for Undisputed a couple of years ago, and he went into that fight with the mindset of, I'm going to lose, I just want to see 12 rounds, which is a pathetic mindset to have going into a world title fight. It really is. But he nearly went to 12 rounds. It took him, like, Inoue has knocked out much better fighters. Like Paul Butler underneath the Donaire, you can't compare the two, right? One's a legend, one's just Paul Butler in the nicest way. But he was knocked out in 2 rounds by the monster. All right, Inoue has knocked much better fighters out earlier. Why? Because they've come to win. They've come with belief and they've come to try. My guy came to just see the end of the 12th round. He got 11 rounds into it. And, celebrating the fact that they said I'd only last one. It's like, well, better last one and at least try than go 11 and do nothing, And with William Scull, it is much of the same. It was just no urgency, no anything. He just looked like he just wanted to get paid and go home, and that's it. Less said about it, the better. In terms of Canelo, his legs are looking slow. They're looking slow, and I think we are seeing the twilight. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that Canelo signed a deal with Riyadh for next year as well, I'd say this would be his last year, because he's looking more and more every time I see him a jaded fighter. Not in terms of punishment he's taken in the ring, but I just think his body is just jaded. He's been pro 20 years. He's been at world level for 15 of them. And I think that even though he's not taking punishment, he is someone who trains all year round. He's never out of shape. He lives the life. But, you can only... The gas is going to run empty eventually. Even in the most, economical of cars, it will run out of gas eventually. And I think maybe we're starting to see that with Canelo. But now we talk about Canelo's next fight. Alginet Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, September 12th. I've never heard of that stadium. Someone's going to have to let me know. I'll actually see who plays there, because I thought they were doing this in LA. So who does play there? Who plays there? What's so special about this stadium? It doesn't tell me who plays there. Oh, maybe it will tell me here. I'm just curious. The Las Vegas Raiders. Why did I think they were in LA? That's weird. I thought they were in LA or something like that. I'm probably thinking of something else. But it looks an epic stadium. They're saying that's actually where WrestleMania was this year. Okay. So that's where Canelo was going to fight Terence Crawford on September the 12th. I'm using Everton Boxing. Shout out to those guys, as well as the Ring Magazine as well. I use them for a lot of my news, the Ring Magazine. An amazing platform. They are just an absolute joy to work with. They really are. Big up to the guys at the ring every time. But September the 12th, it's going to be Crawford, Canelo. The fight's a mega fight. It's a blockbuster fight. It is just phenomenal. It is. On paper, it's a fight I never thought would happen. Seeing them face to face in the ring, I went and watched it today, just the 2 face-offs. I wasn't going to watch the William Scull fight again. For my sins, I had to sit through that, which was hard, but the actual face-off with Crawford made up for it, because I got goosebumps immediately seeing those 2 guys. I really did. I look forward to this fight. I think the weight difference is going to be way too much for Terence Crawford, and maybe the inactivity as well, and the fact that Crawford is getting up there in age. I know Canelo's no spring chicken either, but I just think Crawford... It's quite remarkable, really. We've seen no signs of slippage in Crawford at all, and he's been at world level for over a decade. But I just think the weight and the age, I think we might start to see it now. I think we might. In terms of other news, the May Boxing UK schedule is phenomenal. It really is. This weekend coming, we have Kakache versus Lee Wood. That's going to be amazing. The following weekend, we have Johnny Fisher, Dave Allen. I'll probably attend that one myself because I don't live too far from the Copper Box. That's walking distance for me, so I might actually attend that one, especially if Ade is doing it. I'll probably attend it with him. We'll see. The May 23rd, which is a Friday, Maxi Hughes, Archie Sharp, Terry Harper. That's in the Keep Moat Stadium, I believe it is, in Doncaster. GB Emmerd showing that one. Big up to those guys every time. Uzi Asif doing great work in the world of boxing as well, doing some fantastic shows with GBM. He really is a great guy, really doing some good work there. May 24th, Josh Taylor versus Echo Usman. May's UK schedule is absolutely stacked. I love it. I think that the May schedule is looking phenomenal. In terms of other news, Anthony Joshua said that he will have surgery on his elbow sometime in May. The surgeon reckons he'll be out of the gym for 6 to 8 weeks, and then he will work on his return. Yeah, I did see this. So I did a video on it as well, actually. So yeah, Anthony Joshua, we've heard reports over the last couple of years of a niggle, an injury. We didn't fully know what it was. Well, we know now it's an elbow injury, which if you have an elbow injury, it can affect you if you're throwing straight shots. So he's getting surgery on that. I fully expect to see Anthony Joshua back before the end of this year, though. I definitely do expect to see that. And given the fact that earlier this week, you see where I'm going with this, we got the announcement that Tyson Fury, not the announcement of Tyson Fury, that's the wrong way to say it, but Tyson Fury, and it coincided, of course, it had to coincide with Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois' press conference, doesn't it? I mean, if you think about it like this, and I'm going off on a tangent here, but listen, you think about it like this, right? The last Crescendo kickoff press conference, it was a Monday in January. I think it was the back end of January. Or the 13th of January, thereabouts. We're all getting ready for that kickoff press conference. We're all looking forward to it. Tottenham Court Road. We all can't wait. It's going to be good fun. We're all getting ready. I'm in my flat, took the day off, getting ready to leave, and we get this notification that Tyson Fury's retired. And he picks that day to do it. And now Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois gets announced. In fact, I'll talk about that before I finish off with the rest of the story. They kick off their press conference. Oh, look who's in the gym with Sugar. The man can't help himself. Like, it's Floyd Mayweather was bad. Literally, Fury and Mayweather, they're so alike in their personality. You know, Floyd Mayweather would do stuff like that. You know, Canelo versus Triple G gets announced. Oh, I'm announcing my fight with McGregor. Oh, they have to be that same. They can't let other people have the spotlight. And that's Fury. I announced my retirement today. An amazing card is going to have their kickoff press conference, and all the attention is going to be off Beterbiev, Bivol, etc., Parker, Dubois, and it's going to be on Fury retiring. And now we're here at Dubois versus Usyk 2 to kick off, and is Fury coming back? Why? You know, in terms of Dubois versus Usyk 2, as I said, Don Charles didn't do himself any favours, and the whole team, you know. That guy, George Fox, what he said to Usyk, and, you know, I'm going to do, you know, just really making out as though Alexander Usyk is a cheater. And Don Charles, again, showing his absolute ignorance. Oh, thou shalt not cheat. Well, he didn't cheat. He was hit low. He's up to 5 minutes. And if you are so, you know, vehemently against thou shalt not cheat and this, that, and the other, where's that same passion when your guy was saying he'll win by any means if he has to break rules? Because he was saying that. So he's saying, no. Usyk, he's hit low and he is given 5 minutes by the referee. He doesn't take the full 5 minutes. That's not allowed. But your guy basically saying, well, I'm going to go in. And he talked about, oh, well, you know, when you get to a certain point, the referee is going to look. Well, maybe the referee was aware of comments Dubois made and thought, okay, well, if he's going to break rules, I'm going to be scrutinising you because I don't want any rules broke. Did you think of that, Don Charles? No, you didn't. Of course not. Honestly, Alexander Usyk, the worst thing they can do, I believe, is piss Usyk off. If you've ever seen Alexander, like when Alexander Usyk fought Marco Huck many years ago, Marco Huck was well past his best at that stage. And I don't want to say he ruffled Usyk's feathers, he didn't really, but he did kind of peeve him off a little bit. Boy, did he give Marco Huck a beating that night. I think it was in Germany, that fight. Oh boy, did he gave him a terrible beating that night. And the last thing you want to do is give Usyk more fire in his belly than he already has. And I think that Don Charles, unintentionally, is going right ahead and doing that. So that is Usyk versus Dubois. In terms of Fury versus Joshua will be obviously going back to camp probably sometime in July. I'm thinking October, November, December. It's going to be in around that time. He'll be back in the ring. And I suspect, I'm only suspecting here, but I suspect we are going to see the Fury fight. And if I know the Saudis, Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, which I don't know them personally, but the tree is known by their fruits, this will be a 2-fight deal. It won't be the one. They'll do 2. So we will probably see Joshua Fury twice, even if the first fight is a complete mismatch. Which I'm not saying it will be necessarily, but you just don't know. You just don't know. So that is the situation there. In terms of other news, we obviously got the announcement that Fabio Wardley would be no longer facing Jarrell Big Farmer Miller. I was disappointed with that. I know we all were. We heard some of the replacement names being floated around. Filip Hrgovic, Michael Hunter, which I think that Michael Hunter would have been a good replacement because, excuse me, he's not as dangerous now as he used to be. He's older. He's been inactive. He's looked pretty bad. And I think you might have been able to sell that a bit easier than this one, which is Justice Hooney, who is not really known to the casual audience in the UK. He's not going to antagonise Fabio Wardley like Jarrell Miller was, and therefore get the fans really keen to see their guy, do the demolition job. And he's just awkward. So I'm kind of looking at this like, all right, I'll take it. I love seeing Fabio Wardley fight. I absolutely do. I flipping love seeing Fabio Wardley fight. But, it's like, all right, I'm kind of lukewarm on this fight now. Not in a bad way, but it's just like, meh. That's kind of how I feel about it, to be honest with you. In terms of some fights being announced, Richardson Hitchens will defend his IBF super lightweight world title against George Kambosos on the 14th of June. That will be live on DAZN in New York. Hitchinson should win that fight, no problem. I haven't been impressed with Kambosos for a while now. And Jesse Bam Rodriguez will defend his WBC super flyweight world title. Will defend the champion. It's his titles against Fumel Cafu, I think is how you pronounce that guy's name. It's a unification, actually. And that'll be on July the 19th. Where will it be? It will be in Fresco, Texas. We love seeing Jesse Bam Rodriguez, one of our favourite fighters on this channel. We love seeing him so much. We do. He's a tremendous fighter, tremendously talented. And I think I have to never need an invitation to watch a Jesse Bam Rodriguez fight. In terms of everything else, I think that's pretty much it. I don't see much else really to go on with now, to be honest with you. I think we'll call it quits there. Now, obviously, I'm doing this review of the week. It is 5 minutes to 10 on a Sunday night here. I fly back to London on Tuesday evening. And as I said, we currently wait because Inoue isn't fighting until... When is he fighting? He's fighting in the early hours of this morning. So I might find a way to stick that review into review of the week. But if I don't, I'll obviously do a review of Inoue in the morning anyway. But I hope you have a great bank holiday. I think this is one of the few bank holidays that Ireland and England or the UK get together. Because for the most part, they're never together. And I know in Ireland we get more bank holidays, which is nice. So I hope you all have a great bank holiday Monday. I will be doing what I always do, which is pretty much just keep the channel rolling. And we've been doing really good numbers. Like I said, we've been doing really good. We just hit 23,700 today at the time of recording this. 4 more subscribers in the last 10 minutes. Brilliant. Or the last 20 minutes, because I checked my count just before I started recording. So there you go. We're growing. We get to 25k hopefully by midsummer. Actually, it's May now. I'd love to get there by maybe kind of June, July, hopefully. At ANG Man, we'll be back in person this week. Thank God for that. I've had a good 2 weeks at home, but I'm looking forward to getting back to London and just getting down to work. I've got 2 videos done for the Ring magazine this month, so that's pretty good. They've been a joy to work with, as I said. So a lot of good things happening. This year has been crazy for me. I know I shouldn't be bragging and all that, but it has been crazy. It's been flipping between the show at ANG Man, my own channel, the Ring, which I'm really enjoying work with her. I have to say I'm really enjoying it. And there's a little bit of talk in the pipeline of something, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So yeah, it's been good. So hope you all have a great week and smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, people. Peace.